If you asked almost anyone which vehicle they'd rather own, their answer would probably be pretty obvious. A Porsche, or maybe the Ducati, or maybe my other Porsche. They're faster, they're better looking, they're more expensive, and they're the vehicles everyone dreams about. So then, what is the fourth vehicle that I would consider arguably more fun than the other three of these?
But this is by far the most fun vehicle I own. It is the best money I have ever spent on a vehicle in my life. This, more than every other vehicle I've owned, makes the least amount of horsepower. It barely goes highway speeds. It has zero technology. It doesn't sound that great. It's up to about the top of my thigh, which is not saying much because I'm shorter. Most of these are obviously taller, but you know, this is probably the smallest, most ridiculous vehicle I've ever owned. But for some reason, it is by far the most fun and one of my favorites. It's lasted second longest of every vehicle I've ever owned, that being the first one. So that I've had for about 3 years. And this is the only other vehicle that's lasted about 3 years of vehicles I've owned, because I kind of go in and out of cars pretty quickly, and bikes for that matter. On paper, this shouldn't even be a competition. This Porsche handles way better than the Grom ever could. This Ducati is way faster than the Grom could ever be. And this Boxster is probably more practical than the Grom can ever be. So technology standpoint, this loses. Speed standpoint, this loses. Handling standpoint, this loses. Comfort standpoint, this loses. It's the least comfortable thing I've ever owned. So why do I think it's the most fun? For a few grand, this is the most fun you can have on a bike. And what's great about these is you don't really need a destination. I never really ride this anywhere specific. I just ride it around. Could be for 5 minutes, could be for an hour, but it just doesn't ever fail to put a smile on my face how much fun this is. And again, I spent like $2,000 on this or something like that. I bought it on Facebook, and can't say like, it's like the Boxster. The Boxster you get, you know, for 10 grand, it's probably some of the most fun you can have for a car. For $10,000, this is probably the most fun for a vehicle in general you can have for a couple $1,000 if you're open to spending that. And it's a ridiculously fun piece of machinery to own for that much money. I think I've kind of figured out why this is the most fun vehicle I own. For one, it is still street legal. So you have headlights, taillights, signals, back signals. You do have a plate bracket. It is street legal, but I don't have my plate on it now. I accidentally knocked the plate off last time I rode it, which it is what it is, but I still have the plate. But we got to put that back on. But this is so much fun because you can really use every part of this vehicle. It's the only vehicle I own where you can go through every single gear. So this is a 4-speed manual transmission like other small bikes, but it tops out at about 65 miles an hour. So you can go through all 4 gears, hit the top speed, hit the rev limiter, and you're still not even breaking road laws. You're still only going like 65 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, which is definitely probably the most fun part about it. I can't do that on my other bike. This bike hits, I don't know, in first gear like 70, 60 miles an hour, something ridiculous. The Boxster, you can go to second, third gear before you're breaking the road laws, and then the Cayman breaks it in first gear, so that's just how it goes. Another great thing I do have to say about this bike is really no one expects a lot out of it. It's like racing a Miata. You know, if you lose to a Miata, you lost to a Miata, and if you beat a Miata, no one cares, you beat a Miata. Kind of the same thing. This is like a motorcycle version of a Mazda Miata. No one really expects a lot from it. No one expects it to be fast because it's, you know, this big. No one expects it to be super fun or whatever, but it is. So I think that's also one of the best things about the bike is when you're riding it around, you don't care if it's fast. You have no interest in it being fast because you know it's not going to be fast. It's just pure fun. It's stupidity. It kind of feels like the first time riding a bicycle when you're 12 years old. That's the best way I can explain this bike. So don't get me wrong. If you're cruising up mountain roads, you're taking turns and having a fun time on a nice drive, I'd probably choose the Boxster. If you want to have a ridiculous event every time you drive the car, definitely the Cayman here. If you want to hit ridiculous speeds and cut through traffic or something like that, not that I would ever do that, but you know, if you ever did want to do something like that, this Ducati would probably be the best choice. But if you want to have the most maximum amount of fun for your money, most maximum amount of fun for your time, and just pure enjoyment when you're on the vehicle or driving it or whatever the case may be, however you want to say it, I can't put anything past this Grom that it is probably the most fun vehicle you can spend your money on out there.
My whole life and growing up, I always thought, you know, Porsches were going to be kind of the only thing I want. I always wanted kind of one fast motorcycle. Of course, I always want more Porsches. And I always was kind of trying to chase horsepower and chase numbers and chasing, you know, that thought and that feeling and thinking that was all there was to cars and just building the most power, handling the best, all that stuff. But as I've gotten older, and I bought this when I was 19, maybe. I had it for a year. I rode it a little bit, and then I didn't touch it for a couple years. And I've just started riding it again, and it really is the most fun you can have. As I've gotten older, I've enjoyed just the simplicity of it. So if anyone's ever in a position, honestly, to spend an extra couple $1,000, if you have it, of course, to get it a kind of a fun second vehicle, or maybe a third vehicle, or even if you want to learn how to ride, this is probably the best in every single one of those categories. It's ridiculously fun. It handles pretty well considering, you know, it's obviously really slow. And I really have nothing bad to say about it, no complaints. It has zero technology. So all you really have here is your gauge cluster. I'll turn this on. The key is broken, so it just stays in there. But that's all you have. You got your speed. It'll tell you what gear you're in, and that's kind of how many miles it has. Mine has almost 4,000 miles, so obviously I've ridden it quite a bit. When I got it, it had some miles on it already. The only things I've done to it is I've stretched it a little bit just to kind of lower it, make it a little bit more comfortable for me. I put a different sprocket in it, so it has a little bit more acceleration. This is aftermarket. I just like this little luggage thing, luggage carrier it's called. It does have different handles, which I didn't do, but those are lower than they should be. And then it has a bride seat, which is not real. I got that on like eBay or something. And then original color of this was actually red. And then I got all new plastics from Honda. So this orange is actually a Honda color, which is cool. And then these little pieces are custom painted black. And by custom painted, I mean me and my friend spray painted them. You can still see the red. It's actually starting to come through a little bit. But yeah, this is my Grom. It does also have an exhaust on it, so it has that like choppy little 125cc sound, which is cool. That's a little plate bracket right there, but that's pretty much my Grom, and it is definitely the most fun vehicle in my collection, quite honestly. It really is the most fun you can have, especially for the money. But I just never really did a video on my Grom. It's always been there. It's always been in the background of my videos, but I never did an actual video and kind of made a little video about it. So I just wanted to show it off, explain why I have it with this lineup of vehicles that I have. And yeah, just go through it real quick. So of course, as always, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.